Hi guys and welcome. I'm going to have a bit of a play today with the darkroom door fine line butterflies. So absolutely love this set. They are red rubber, so they will give you a beautiful impression when you stamp. I'm going to just use black archival ink today, but I've also done these with the gold embossing around the side, or you can do white embossing, what have you, but I'm just going to work with black today. I've got some watercolor paper here, which is a cotton watercolor paper from Couture Creations. Just going to get rid of the plastic for you so it's not so glary, and it's quite thick because it's a 300 GSM. But I'm just going to stamp, I'm just going to cover it all, and then we will grab our watercolor paints out. I've got my palette here ready to go. I've got my cup of water. I've also got this, I found it the other day when I was tidying up, this beautiful little rosette flower. So I'm going to do some watercoloring of those as well and cut them out just to have some ephemera for clusters or pockets or things like that. So it's a bit of a mixture. I'm going to try and stamp them. Oh, it's not real dark. Maybe it's the ink pad, maybe it's the absorbent paper. So I'll try another ink pad, otherwise that's the colour that we're going to get. Still going with the archival, because I know I've re-inked this one. Yeah, so that's as dark as we're going to get, which is okay because watercolour is designed to be a bit pastel-y and not so intense. That might do with the flowers because I'm really more interested in the butterflies. Now I'm going to do a mixture of sizes as well, so I'm going to put these on stamp blocks. We'll definitely want a couple of the big one. Haven't watercolored for a while, so I'm a bit rusty, but the thing with watercolor, you know, especially just working on a project like this, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're just doing it for yourself, then you can either add more colour, put water on your brush and take a bit of colour off. Got some different size ones here, so I'm going to put a few on some blocks and then I may change them out. And then we want another little one. And there are some mini ones there too. We'll see how we go with these ones. I'll do a couple of the big ones first. And they are a fine line image, which I absolutely love. Might do 4 of each size maybe, see what we can fit on the page. And the smaller ones we may be able to squeeze in between other images as well. They're slightly different, those ones, so I might, oh no, I'll do 4. I said I was going to do 4 of each image, so we'll stay with that. 1, 2, 3. Let's go the smaller one. And I might do a few more of the smaller ones because I will have more projects for them to go on, like clusters. I do have a smaller one, so I'm going to use that to fill in all these spaces here, because we certainly don't want to waste the paper, because watercolour paper is not that cheap. This is also a great way to boost your ephemera, having some different things, some more. I don't think I will chance that one. I'll grab another one here, do a few more. And there was this really wide-winged one that I absolutely love. Could be like a moth in a sense. Look great on a pocket or a tuck, or even a belly band. Do some more this size, and I'm just going to fill the page now that I've got a few of each image. This is the size that I think I will use the most of. And I might do a couple more big ones. Perfect. Got a nice breeze today coming through the door, so it's good because I don't have to have the aircon on. Being in a shed, a lot of the times you've got to have the air conditioning on because it can heat up quite quickly here in Australia in the summer. Well, it's a beautiful time of year at the moment. Oh, sorry, I just had to have a drink of water. Beautiful time of year here at the moment, going into winter, so the days are quite cool. I will just use this mini one. There we go. Now I might go back to this page, do a bit of watercolouring. So I'm going to do some bulk colouring on there first, I thought, and then I will add another colour to it. I'm going to spray my palette. So this is the first time using this palette. I got it because it had a lot of colours. So I'm just going to give them a wet down. Initially. And then I've also got the matte that come with it. However, I'm going to use my Dina Wakley stamp. I also use it as a it's a ruler, it's a template. I put inks on it. It can be my background stamp, so I use it as a stamping block. But I'm going to add some water to it. I hope all that's in screenshot. I'm going to add some water to it just so I can play around a bit with, I don't know how intense these ones are. Let's go with a fairly light. We might turn that to the side so we can have more of a palette in shot. So you might go with a lime greeny yellowy colour. I'll go with the flowers first up. And with watercolour, you just add, if you want it lighter, you just go, you add more water. So as you can see, I'm going to add more water to this and get a really faint. Then if I want to rinse my brush and take some of that colour out, as you can see there, take some of that colour out. And then we can add some more intense colour into those later on. So I'm going to go fairly light with the wings here, and then I'll add some other colours and feather it out from the centre. And I'll just do the same on a couple of different sizes while I've got the ink colour on my palette. Going a bit darker. See how you can add colour, and then if you decide you've added too much, you rinse your brush and put a clear brush on there and lift a bit of the colour back. And you can see how I'm not being too precise, because we're going to cut these out as well. So if you go outside the line like that, remember we're cutting around here, so it's not going to matter. Be as free as you like. Just basically enjoy the process. I'm going to pop that one to the side because there's a couple of different sizes I want to do with yellow while we've got it. So these wide wingspan ones, some more of the mini. I'll do 3 more of the mini because yellow pops really well in a journal too, even if you're doing neutrals. And we're going to be adding more colour to these guys as well. If you haven't tried watercolour before, guys, definitely go to your dollar shop, get yourself some cheap watercolours. You don't have to spend a lot of money on them, and have a play with them. You don't even have to use watercolour paper if you don't want. Just start with your normal cardstock or a good quality thick paper, copy paper is probably not the best way to go. So I'm just going to wipe that stamp block off now, and we're going to go with another colour. Let's go with the blue. I tend to do a lot with blue, and I like probably this one here. Add some water to the palette there. Oh, what a beautiful blue. It's like a bluey greeny colour. Very pretty. This is something too, if you, and I've been running this idea by a couple of girlfriends, we're always looking of ways to, you know, get together, but to, you know, have a relaxing day too. We do a lot of craft days where someone hosts it at their place, and then we go there. But we've been tossing around the idea of throwing a watercolour palette and just some blank pages, or in relation we could do stamped images like this, and going to a park and just sitting there and having no agenda or no project that we're making, but to just sit and play with the paints and see, you know, what we come up with. Obviously we'll do a lot of talking and laughing and coffee and things at the same time, but it's just another concept of getting out in the fresh air and you know, getting together. Obviously the main goal, getting together, having a beautiful relaxing day, costs you nothing. And with watercolors, there's really not much to pack up. A vessel to put your water in, just a palette of some sort, even just some acetate, and you've got your, you know, a couple of brushes and that. Throw them in your handbag, and head off. Pack some lunch, thermos of coffee maybe, some cold drinks, a little cheese platter, whatever you want to do. Organise it with some girlfriends or some mates if you're a male crafter, or a mixed group, and yeah, just have some fun. You know, if you go in a mixed group, let's say, you know, half of them might want to go fishing, the other half might want to stay and craft, whichever happens. All right, I'm going to clean that off now and go with another colour. Let's go, I'm thinking a green. Let's go this green. I really love olive green, but I'm thinking I'll go the background with this one because I can put some olive green highlights. It may not be deep, it may not be dark enough. I may have to add another colour to it. Probably not that one. Maybe this one. Maybe not. Anyway, we'll see. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. So you can make your own colours with watercolours as well. It's as simple as that. And as you can see, I haven't even put a dent in any of these, and I've painted a fair bit. So when you, depending on whether you go a cheap set to start with or whether you just dive in and do an expensive one, you're going to have it for years and years and years. I might go a little bit darker. So I'm doing a second layer, as you can see. The same watered down one, but I'm doing a second layer over because I want this one a little bit darker. I'm not going to do any of the flowers because we're working in a green. So Same with the brushes too. Don't go out and buy expensive brushes if you're just starting out. Just buy a pack so you've got a few different sizes. Put that one to the side and grab this one. Then we might get into some pinks and purples, because purple, I'm not a real pink person, but purple seems to be everyone's favourite. So pop a comment down the bottom. What's your favourite colour that is your go-to colour in all your crafting? Or what do you personally like? I work a lot with neutrals, but I do love the blues. I tend to gravitate to either olive green or denim blue colours. So we'll clean the palette off again. So I'm just using a little towel. It's normally a wet one. These ones have dried out on me, but it's still picking up the ink off the palette there. I must restock my holder with wet ones, but I thought I'll use these dry ones. They seem to be doing the purpose. Okay, let's go a nice lavendery colour. So you can see I'm outside the lines a little bit there. I'm not worried about it because we're going to cut them out. And I don't really want to have a white border. I'll see how I go when I start cutting, because I'd like to really cut right to the stamped image. If I do have a little bit of a border there, because these lines aren't exact, they're quite feathery, I will distress ink around the outside to take that white away. So you may not have butterfly stamps. Get your flowers out, anything you like. You may have just circles and squares, etc. We'll get those out and have a play just with, just to get used to watercolouring. There's so much you can do with it. I'm nowhere near a professional. I'm just a happy crafter, basically. I love just having a go at things. Having a go and seeing what we come up with. Now we've got no mini ones in purple, so I'll just do a couple of them. I think we might do orange next, and then we might highlight a few, just so you're not bored watching me do the same thing over and over and over. So nice orange. Let's go, I like that one. Let's go that one. It's sort of over into the browns a bit, isn't it? But for a background colour. even if you wanted to do butterflies and didn't have any stamps, then do your butterfly wings on a bit of paper, so you know, 4 circles basically, and then get a fine liner, a black fine line pen or a gel pen or whatever you've got, and do the outline. Even do a few outlines like this, you get like that rustic scratchy look. I'm going to pop this one over to here. And a bit more there. I just need one of these little wide moth type butterflies. These types of videos are great little craft with me videos too. You can get your watercolors out or whatever you're doing, basically your paints. If you don't have watercolors, you've got paints. Okay, so we're going to have to go a pink, aren't we? Let's see. No, that's too purpley, that pink. I'll go over to the... I'm not sure whether that's in shot, so I'll turn it around. Didn't clean off my orange there, but we'll just use this corner up here. It's actually not a bad pink. So you can see from the 2 sheets of watercolor pages, I'm not sure how much they work out each, but we've got a lot of ephemera. So if once we cut all these out, even by cutting just 1 page out, you can see the number there. If you bought a pack of ephemera with that amount of images in it, you're paying up around the $10, $12, $13. And I know some ephemera is dearer than others, but you know, for a couple of dollars, let's say these watercolor paper pages work out to be $1 each, for example. For $2 and some beautiful relaxing time having fun playing with your paints, you've got a lot of ephemera to work with. And if you didn't have a use for these bigger ones, you could do them all little, and you've got so much. You might just use watercolor pencils. That's another thing we can use as well. So I've got some beautiful Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Do a couple of pink flowers. Didn't do an orange flower, forgot about that one. You might still have enough on the palette there to do. Didn't do a purple flower either. What have we got? A big one. We need some little ones. And back to this one, we need another mini one. So I will backtrack to my orange. So orange and purple. So orange, because it's a darker colour, I'm going to do this one that's not stamped that great. I don't want to waste the stamped image. I can always go around it with a black liner and grab a bit more of my purple and do a purple flower. I'll go a bit darker and I'll pull a bit of colour off it. It's as easy as that, guys. Simple, simple, easy. So what we'll do now is we'll work and do some highlights on there. So they've dried. Even with that drying and using the same colour, you can just feather out, blending like that. So that's one way of doing it. You can introduce another completely different color. So we'll go this, and when I say completely, it's a little bit darker, but to feather out like that. See how that looks? Absolutely beautiful. So I'll do and you don't have to be too pedantic with it, entirely up to you. If you wanted to blend it even more, you'd run just a water brush over it with no colour on it. You can bring in a completely different colour again. I'm going to relatively keep them to their same palette. Because I like that tone on tone effect. With your flower, you can just add bits and pieces just to give it a bit of like texture or depth. Beautiful. These orange ones. That noise there, I'll just close the door. That's my husband blowing some leaves, so he's bound to come over near the studio, and it is quite loud. We've got beautiful jacaranda. Is it jacaranda or poinciana? Poinciana, I think it is, and it drops. It's a beautiful tree, but it drops a lot of leaves and a lot of flowers. So my brush was a little bit wet then, so I'm rinsing it. I'm getting the excess water off it, and I'm going to just try and pull some of that back. And redo it. Lovely. Now let's play with the purple. I actually like this one, so let's get a bit over. So I'm going to, I'll show you on a different, oh no, I'll show you on this one. See how that's quite feathery? So I'm going to get a flat brush. I actually like that effect. This is my only purple butterfly, but I'm just going to get a plain water brush and blend that out. A bit more, so you can do that as well with it. Like I was saying, with the effect of adding more or taking some away or blending. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I just, you know, I've had to cover up mistakes in the past, so you sort of learn as you go. And I don't get to do as much as I like, but like I was saying before, with my idea of getting the girls together, packing a picnic, going and sitting in a park or by a creek or a river, water's always relaxing, and just having a day out. Day out that doesn't cost money. You can also go in with your gel pens and add dots and details and if you've got a fine liner brush, this one's not too bad, but you can get them finer to do those details if you don't have a gel pen or a fine liner pen. Okay, let's do the green ones because there's a really nice, where did it go? Olive green on this palette that may or may not work. Just this one up here, I think. Oh, beautiful. I just love olive green. It's my favourite colour. And play around with the effects you like in your blending on these as well. You know, you may just want to go out to the circle and do a rounded effect. And I don't think a lot of us utilize what we have on hand. You know, if we go through our stamp stash and look at what we have, like things that can be coloured in or painted as far as images go. So open images like this with an outline. If you don't have watercolour, I've done this with the oxide inks and archival inks as well. You just stamp a little bit on a block like we're using as our palette here, and a paintbrush, and you can get the same effects. I like the watercolour because you can add and take away, but use what you've got. It's relatively dry. I'll just add a little bit of water. Lovely. Let's do the blue next. I'm going to wipe that palette. Might need a bit of help this time because it's got quite dry. So add a bit of water to my cloth. I'm going to throw this cloth that's seen its day. Now let's do the blue ones. And I'm thinking this blue. Oh, maybe not. Let's put it there. And okay. Now it's more of a green. Deeper blue, maybe. And you only know once you add water to it and put it out on the, see, that's a more purple. Could go the darker one, maybe. Let's try both. We've got a few different sizes, so let's go the one we're originally going to go with first. Actually, I don't mind that. Let's go the dark one and see. They're both nice, but I think I like that lighter one. So we'll work with that one. Brush is a bit wet there. I'm just going to get the excess out of it and pull bit of it back. Not have him as detailed, but let's add a little bit let's go 3 colors and we'll add a little bit just coming out and give him like an ombre, bit of an ombre effect. So you can do that as well. And the size of your brush too, if we went a bigger brush, can make a difference again. I'm just doing the bodies and I'm doing them with the darker one. Smaller ones won't stand out as much. See, you know, you may be able to, they'd be better off being black, but the bigger ones definitely see that there's no room to even really colour that one in, but we'll go the same as the others. Let's detail that one. Ombre him a little bit, but the detailing's definitely better than the just leaving them plain. So anything you add, you know, you could stamp a background stamp over the top of them. I think with watercolour, you know, don't try and be too precise. It's not what it's about. It's about enjoying the process, having fun. All right, let's do the pink one. We'll go this darker. Definitely do the body first. I am crafting without my glasses today, so it's even a bit more rustic than intending. But I certainly don't mind, and I'm certainly loving it. Okay, let's blend them out. I'm going to cut a couple out just so you can see what they actually look like cut out, because they will look completely different again. But I just want to do the yellow ones, and then we can definitely cut a few out just so you can see. And we can also look to maybe put some just some highlights on them, just to show you different things we can do there as well. I'm going to go this mustardy yellow, I think. This is the type of thing too, you can put your music on or another YouTube on. Just do the centers of these other ones. Another YouTube or TV program or something on in the background. Just to like zone out. I've got to try, and when I'm doing this, guys, it's so relaxing. Like I'm sitting here, I can actually feel my whole body's just relaxed, and I've got to be really mindful not to zone out and stop talking to you guys, because sometimes it's easy to, you're that relaxed and in the zone, forget that you guys are here, and you don't want to, definitely don't want to sit in silence. You can add whatever highlights you want in those. You might, where's that flat brush? And forget about the poor old flowers. And I know I didn't do those blue flowers either. So that brush is fairly dry, and you can see that you get a different effect again. I'm loving it either or. Bird chirping out there. The second colour, or you know, if you don't have too much variety in colours, just doing it darker definitely is better than just the one colour. As you can see, look at the difference between the two. Just gives it more character. And sometimes a bird life's just enough, as you can hear. Got a couple of birds out there. It's sort of late morning, middle of the day here. And there's still a fair bit of bird activity. So it's sort of tells you what a beautiful day it is out there today. Now they're all done. This one I just got to do the blue flowers that I forgot to do. Just with that flat brush again, just blending, just in a swirling motion, the same as I've done the strokes. Gives it just that, you know, little bit of something something. If you wanted to know, let's see if this has got a brand on it. No brand on it. I think I got it on Amazon though, watercolor paints, and it'll tell you the number on there. That side's like a pearly color, like a pearly effect, and this side's the plain. But I've used both today, as you know, because I was just going for color. But on some of them there is, especially the purple ones there, you'll see a bit of a pearly effect watercolor paint. Same with the orange. Really pretty. But let's cut some out. I will obviously do most of them off camera for you guys. So you can leave a white border, or you can go, I'm going to go fairly close to the stamped image because I don't want a border on it. Once again, I am cutting without my glasses. So see if there's a little fine white border there. When you ink it, you can get rid of that. It'll disguise it like it didn't exist. I don't cut the tentacles out. I used to, but they never look any good. And a lot of the times they get damaged because they're hard to glue down. There it is, guys. And just to give you an example, what have I got here? You know, you can make a cluster with it. Make a cluster with it. They're just absolutely beautiful with what you can do. If you don't like, you know, those white edges, you can touch them up. Like I said, if you ink that, it's going to take it all away from it anyway. And I do like to distress my ephemera. But if you were to get a, let me see what have I got here in relation to, you know, you've got a fine liner pen here. I might be able to add some detail to it. You might want to define the wings a little bit more. You want to, once again, let the stamp dictate. That's actually the opposite way, but we're going to go this way. And then put some, say, white dots or gold dots there. See what I've got in relation to white. Okay, so I've got this Posca. Might have to give it a bit of a shake. And add some more detail. The Posca pen's not playing too well, but I will try and fix it up. You could go gold, you could go silver, but just, you know, adding a few extra details to it, it just changes it again. Let's cut out one of the flowers. Absolutely beautiful. And then you can add some leaves to it. Let's just pretend that they are leaves. So you can add some leaves to it. You might have some die cut leaves that you can add to it. You can throw it on a cluster. Let's do we're going to do a yellow butterfly. I might do a couple of small butterflies. This is another relaxing thing to do, is fussy cutting. So I usually do it watching TV or a YouTube. I find it very relaxing. Beautiful. And see how it's got your stamped dots on there? You can just redo over the stamp itself. Just to highlight it even a little bit more. You can go over the lines, make them more dark and prominent. Let's do a little blue one, and then I can cut these out offline and come back to you once they're done. I'll come back to you once they're cut out, and you'll see just from 2 A4 pages how many ephemeras or how many butterflies and that you're going to get out of it. It's going to be a lot. See you soon, guys. So here's how many we got out of those 2 pages. As you can see, a lot of ephemera. Sorry about the shadowing there. And I have gone in with a black fine marker on some of them and just added some more detail. You can really see that metallic water paint showing through there on the purple and the orange. Really pretty. But thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you really got a lot out of that. Like I said, grab your inks or your watercolors. your stamps out and really give it a go. It is so relaxing and rewarding, and look how much just out of 2 A4 sheets in ephemera that you get. Thanks so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.